We should be fine.
Yep.
And I understand that we both, myself and Jean-Francois, we need to introduce ourselves after.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, if you want, we can introduce you, but I think you can also introduce yourselves. So, what fits you better?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Maybe it's okay that if you introduce yourselves because you are going to be leading the discussion. Hello,
Hello.
you're muted. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure the sound was working well. Perfect.
You can take over, and I will check if people, if all the people are joining in time. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so hi everyone, my name is Vera, I'm from the organization and I will be sharing my screen today to share the pitches. And after that, I will give the words to our jury chair, who will lead the discussion. And we will wait till 8 more minutes and then we will start with the first pitch.
just had a question on the logistics. So all the questions will come from the jury, and there will be no outside questions. Is that correct, or there will be questions from the public?
If the public have any questions, they can let the jury chair know. So either via the chat or the jury can give them the word, and then they can ask their question.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so I'm going to see the questions here via this meeting chat, right? Okay. I can see all of us on YouTube.
Okay, me and Vera are turning off our camera now, but we're here the whole time. We can hear everything. So just, if you need anything, let us know. I'm checking if everybody's here. Maybe tell them that the pitch will start 1:45 sharp. And where is Anna?
Just for everybody that just joined, we will start with the first pitch at 1:45 sharp. All right, we will now start with the first pitch from Team Helvet Sense.
My name is Nicola and I'm part of the team Helvetsense. As you guessed it, we're from Switzerland. In our country as well as in the USA, valproate is not the most commonly used drug against epilepsy. Sadly, its alternative, phenytoin, is worse. In fact, the dosage is even harder to manage and requires a strict follow-up. This is why, with the advice of neurologists, we decided to target phenytoin. In Switzerland, epilepsy touches 1% of the population. Most patients require medical visits every 3 months. The optimization and the stabilization of the dosage may take up to 2 years of monitoring. This is time-consuming for both patients and doctors. We, Helvetsense, want to make the life of both patients and doctors easier. Now, let's meet our two doctors, Eric and Daniel. Both need to monitor the concentration of phenytoin of their epileptic patients. Daniel uses Reno, our fast drug monitoring device. Let's have a look on how our device makes the difference. Eric meets his patient, take a blood sample, and then send it to a lab for analysis. He receives the result in 3 days, and then he has to contact his patient again. On the other hand, Daniel, thanks to Reno, can conduct the test on her own and meet her patient only once. She just needs to deposit a single drop of blood on the cartridge, and then in the push of a button, she obtains a result in under 5 minutes. The dosage can then be immediately adjusted without the need to recontact the patient again. Furthermore, with our phone application, Daniel can easily manage a patient's data. Our goal is to facilitate the process by making it faster and more efficient to reach the optimal dose. Now, I will let the floor to Aurélie to talk about our business plan.
So after 3 years of testing, development, and research, we will be entering the Swiss market, our first milestone, targeting 30% of neurologists, representing the sales of 200 devices. We will then expand to Europe, targeting 1.6% of the market. This will help propel Helvetsense into the medical industry and make us into a strong competitor. We'll then obtain FDA approval, entering the North American market, which is one of the major consumers of phenytoin. How is this market plan devised? Simply by analyzing our production costs and our revenues. Indeed, our device costs 250 francs to be produced and will be sold at 500 francs. But our business model is based on the sales of our cartridges. In fact, the production of one cartridge costs 5 francs, but it will be sold 50 francs, a more competitive cost than the available immunoassay, which is sold at 60 francs, benefiting patients, doctors, and insurances. Our low-cost technology allows us to get an income of 45 francs, ensuring our financial viability. Also, our proprietary design of our electrodes will ensure the protection of our technology. Our next step is then to strengthen our relationship with healthcare professionals, providing tests for other anti-epileptic drugs, and then further expand to test for bacteria and viruses. Today, together, let us change patient lives.
All right, we will now start with the discussion, so I'll give the word to the jury chair.
Hello, everyone. My name is Veronika Ficek, and I'm today the chair of the discussion. And I'm accompanied with Masson Jean-François. François, would you like to say hello?
Yes, hello everyone. So I'm Jean-François Masson from Canada. I will be co-chair of this jury discussion.
We just saw the presentation by Helvetsen's team straight away from Switzerland. And now I would like to ask everyone from public to ask questions on YouTube, as well as our jury members to ask questions now, and we will lead a discussion between our team. Please start asking questions now.
So maybe I can start while if there's any questions from the public, we will feed them. So I would like to better understand the incubator that you intend to use at EPFL. So can you tell me a little bit more about if there's all the facilities to be able to produce the device and perform the R&D? And also understand a bit more if there's other companies there that could use to be leverage their expertise into helping you reach a market.
So for the research and development, we'll stay like during 2 years in the EPFL. There is a facility called the Forge, which is an open space that we can use to have the meetings, and we have access to the wet lab of our labs that could like help us to make the experiments. Plus, we will go in 2 grants, the grants of the EPFL and the grants of SensUs. Which is like in total is like 700,000 francs, so more or less the same in dollar.
And just to add, we are in the middle of Elf Valley in Switzerland, so Lausanne is really in the middle. So there is in Geneva and there is Neuchâtel. There's a lot of biotech. There is the innovation park where there's a lot of startups that begin, a lot of companies that are there for a long time that could give us a lot of advice. There's some competition where we can present our concept and where we can have feedback and advice and go further with our devices.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a second question. So I would like to better understand how the neurologist will be able to monetize the device. So you mentioned in your team result document that they will be able to monetize the device throughout the care. So do you envision that they will charge more than the price that you've mentioned in your pitch, or will they get the essentially kickback from the sale of the device or the cartridges? So can you tell me a little bit more how neurologists will be able to monetize that?
Yeah, so the device is quite inexpensive for a medical device. So I think it can enter in this budget of a neurologist. And if it's an hospital, you can have 1 or 2 only for a neurologist. And cartridge, they can, like we sell it at 50, but they can do at the same price as the immunoassay if they want, or something like that. It's like up to them, but they don't have to monetize if they don't want to. If they are in hospital and instead of doing the lab test, doing the cartridge, and only want to say it's the same price, but it's really faster because the result in 5 minutes, so it doesn't have to call the clients again, the patient again.
Yeah. And so the cost that you presented, is it the production cost, or does it also include distribution, overhead for management? So is it the overall cost, or is just the cost to actually fabricate the device and the cartridge?
So the $5 the 5 franc price that we have like for the device, it will be the production cost only. We are going to sell it directly to the neurologist at the beginning at 50. So the 45 margin that we have will be used like to take the device, to take the cartridge and give it to the hospital or to the neurologist directly.
Right.
And that's all the cost of management too. So that's the production cost $5.
Okay, and how much do you think the other cost will sum up to? So for the cartridge, you have a good margin, but for the device, the margin it will be much smaller, it seems.
We are not selling the device. We are selling cartridges. We are selling tests. We are not selling the device. The device is intended to be like almost. We are not intended to have like a big margin on the device. The point is like just to cover like the production cost and the research and development cost. We are selling tests. That's our business model.
Okay, thank you.
Now I have a couple of questions to you, team. I can see in your proposal, especially in the translational potential part, that obviously a big part of your launch strategy would be the involvement with neurologists. What I would like to understand is how are you planning to map your neurologists, and whether you would anticipate a emerging experts in neurology, or maybe well-established international experts in neurology to be the key stakeholders, or maybe on national level. How are you planning to conduct this quite vital process for the launch of your product?
We have some neurologists that we have in contact in Lausanne, and we also have a contact with some association of epilepsy that have contact with experts in neurologists in epilepsy. And after we will contact association in Europe and contact expert neurologist association to propose our device and cartridges and our business model.
Thank you. I can also understand, based on your work, that you are actively thinking about pursuing a further alliance with Beckman Coulter. Would you like to explain us a little bit more about how you anticipate this alliance to develop in the weeks or years to come?
Beckman Coulter are in health technology and have already immunoassay for phenytoin and other epileptic drugs. So they already know the market and able to target. And so we think it's facilitate us to enter the market. And also the FDA will help us have the FDA approval. And then we could give them some margin profit from our business, from our device.
Thank you. Let's see whether we have any questions from the public. Nothing yet. I would also like to encourage juries on this call to make sure that all the questions are being asked. Jury, do you have any further doubts or points that you would like to clarify with Helvet Sense team?
Maybe I have another one that I can ask. So you have target phenytoin, which is mostly used, the most used in Switzerland and the United States, but you also plan to enter the European market, which VPA is a little bit more used. How do you envision entering that market, which is a slightly different dynamics than the two that you've mainly focused in Switzerland and the USA?
That's mainly like something easy to do, because we have the Swissmedics approval, which is quite the same standards as the CE approval. So it's like obvious to go to the European market. But the point of our plan is to go direct, to go the fastest as possible into the US, because it's there. Like, they are also using a lot of phenytoin.
And the European market, do they use a lot of phenytoin, or it's mostly VPA? So this is not clear.
It depends in the parts of the country. So some use mostly VPA, but UK and Spain, I think so, use more phenytoin. So from what we learned with papers and neurologists, and so it's why we will target mainly Spain and UK for the European market, and after extend to the US, because phenytoin is produced in the US. It's come from US, and it's like 2 million people are prescribed phenytoin in 2017. So it's why we want to expand really fast to the US market.
We have 2 minutes of discussion left, so probably I will have a question from my side. If we move a little bit further down the line in the product development lifecycle, let's assume that you have your product with a approval from regulatory bodies. What potential marketing mix, what sales strategies and channels you would like to use to sell your product? Would that be more of a detailing, or maybe you would deploy some sort of typically Salesforce specialist, or maybe medical staff? How would you envisage the process of distribution of this product?
In the market, we know we want to go directly to the detailist approach of selling the device. And in the market, we don't know, like the US, we will target the clinics and the consortium of doctors, and we will sell them in small clinics and in consortium of doctors.
All right, sorry to interrupt. This was the discussion and for this team, and we will go to the next team, UpSens.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome to UpSens TP pitch. Monitoring free drug activity may be of key importance for some drugs. Unfortunately, no device is yet capable of measuring free drug concentration for epileptic patients. The goal of our biosensor is to provide a better quality of life to these people. Our biosensor device has a source able to result time, is precise in the desiring range, and offers low-cost measurements. Even though valproate biosensor can stand alone in the market, our prototype can focus on a great variety of analytes. Thanks to plug-and-play cartridges with different particles, they can very easily switch to recognize more analytes. Some molecules, such as the dicyclopyrazine and the antibiotic vancomycin, are good candidates for our platform, but that can expand to more cartridges. Having a stable platform and changing the cartridges, it makes sense that our customer sensor will be healthcare centers. Some examples are the hospitals and external diagnostic laboratories. Especially in the first case, people need to have their blood results before they leave the hospital. That idea can also approach pharmacies and family doctors, where the device can test multiple analytes simultaneously in one platform. On the other hand, big pharma industries and research facilities could be interested in that kind of device. Our relation in that case is two-way, since they could provide us with new drugs, and in exchange we develop new cartridges for them. As for the customer relationship, we'll provide our clients with our services, perform our first measurements for them, while we develop also training programs if it needs. The flow of revenues will come either directly by selling biosensors and cartridges, but also by subscription fees for our constant provisions and services to these health centers and companies. In our project, the support of collaborators will help us to produce the best working biosensor and developing our prototype further. These currently include Ipsen photonics, cobalt lasers, and Brexit solutions. On the other hand, being a spin-out from Uppsala University, which promotes the innovation ideas and the creation of new spin-outs, will be beneficial for us at the beginning. A potential collaboration with Cytiva can provide us with facilities and experience to balance the first expenditures and also scale up the production of the device. While expanding our relationship with companies related to lasers or MIP synthesis could be another good approach for collaboration. Our business requires some basic resources, such as an established platform for our technology, knowledge how to make new particles for the device. Everything is going to be secured by patents and IPRs. As for our key activities, biosensor itself and the MIP development can be considered important in our success. Another important part needs to know is the cost structure of the business. Facilities, maintenance of IPRs and patents, fees for training programs, and research and development section are some of our expenditures. All this affects the balance of the company. Here is the 5-year estimation of our finance, without taking into consideration the initial investments and estimating to approach at the beginning only 1% of the hospitals around Europe. We expect to see our first sales after the first year of the business formation and a positive balance after 4 years. Wolfsense thanks sponsors for their support and all of you for your time.
All right, we can start the discussion again.
Thank you. So we just saw the presentation from the Absence team from Uppsala. And again, I would like to encourage everyone from jury as well as public to ask questions to the team. We don't have currently any questions on YouTube.
I can,
jury, please start.
I can ask the first questions. I would like to know a little bit more about the scalability of the fabrication process for your sensor. So you're using nanomaterials, polymers. How do you anticipate to produce the sufficient amount to have your cartridge being built?
So scale up would not be that big of a problem. Net production is relatively easy compared to other selectivity filters that you could use, like antibodies. And nanoparticles is also a very scalable process. The difficult part in our production process is the coating of the particles. But we were working on the scale up of that, and it was not one of the most difficult parts in the whole production of the biosensor.
And so will you envision a model where you will produce all of that internally, or you will use outside partners to scale up?
Production itself, we would do it ourselves at Upsense. But like we said, we could use different cartridges with different selectivity filters. And for those, you would have to develop new MIPs, new polymers, and the developments and the research for that could be outsourced to other companies. We have been in touch with some of them.
So you mentioned the cost of your cartridges and also the device. Do these costs include the distribution cost, the management cost, and also, for example, health, insurance cost, because you're producing a health device, which you need health production of health device insurance?
So intellectual property is included, detailed, but other detailed expenses are taken, if I remember correctly, into one global whole and price in our report.
Okay. And so you mentioned that you will raise about 700,000 euros to start the company. So what are the options for you to raise that money? Where would you seek these funds?
So the 700,000 is only for the day-to-day finances, but of course it would be more if we need to buy the own labs, for example, and a bigger investment in the beginning. But the 700,000 could come from government funding and other grants for the research, because we're a Uppsala University spin-out. The university could also help us in that way. And other partners, like, for example, Saitiva with the Testa Center here in Uppsala would be an easy
an incubator for us, because they are promoting.
And that will lower the costs.
Okay, and will these seed fund require that they will get some control of the company? Do they get stocks, or are they essentially really grants and no strings attached funds?
Not from our own research. The grant that we would get is not linked to some kind of acquiring stocks of the company. No.
Okay.
We would keep total control.
Thank you very much.
Now I have a couple of questions to you. First question which I have, I can see that in your proposal that you are obviously going to sell your instrument to hospitals, but obviously we know that there is a substantial difference between private as well as public healthcare systems. So is your main idea to mostly engage with public hospitals, or you would also anticipate some publicity interested in your product going via a private healthcare?
It would be mainly focused on the public sector, but for the sales, we will turn to a hospital sales representative that really excel in this kind of process and that have a good process which enables them to fast track all the administrative issues. So we would not have total control over to who we're going to sell. It would be in the hands of the sales representatives, which would, yes, it would decrease our control, but increase the flow and increase the amount of clients we would have. But we would prefer focusing on public services, and the market there is also substantially bigger.
Thank you. So you mentioned that Salesforce will be the main way of your engagement with healthcare organizations and healthcare providers. Do you also, in your business plan, anticipate the costs for potential coverage of medical affairs specialists such as MSL in case that you would find out that healthcare providers are more prone to consider conversation with medical rather than Salesforce professionals?
Sorry.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I will try to be more clear now. I understand based on your previous explanation that you will be mostly depositing Salesforce to engage with healthcare organizations and healthcare providers.
Sales representatives, yes.
Yes, exactly. And my question here is, do you also in your business model take into consideration the cost for the potential of, deployment of MSL or other medical affairs specialists? That we know that sometimes companies like to use both sales specialists and MSL in parallel, as that increases the typically the quality of the conversation that you may have about your product with a healthcare organization. Is such a potential cost also included in your plan?
No, we haven't researched into that direction. No.
Thank you. And one more question from my side. I can see that you have a very ambitious plan to enter a variety of markets in Europe. Are there any reasons that you have decided at this moment not to enter the UK market, which, as we know, is quite open to a wide range of medical devices and technologies?
The UK market is maybe not our focus point, but if the entry point is there, and again, it's a hospital sales representative that will be in charge of reaching out to hospitals. But yeah, it is. I mean, there is no specific reason why we would not process.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes left. Any further questions?
I do have another question. Since you are using a technology that has a laser, did you look into the requirement of the hospitals to be able to host your device?
Yes. So it's not a problem at all. The regulations are, of course, strict, but it's the safety issues with that are easily manageable. And the power is not a high power laser either, so there are no issues with that.
Okay, so you would be able to address that with the CE certification.
Yes,
of course. Yeah. That's also our first goal, the CE certification.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone, for questions. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thanks for the discussion. We will now move to the last team of this time slot, which is the team from Egypt.
Hi, this is Mo, a young optimistic Egyptian child, inspired by the best ever Egyptian footballer. He dreams to exceed him, but at the age of 8, he was diagnosed with epilepsy. Then, he is required to conduct continuous testing that are way expensive and regularly unavailable in his own land. Moreover, countless restrictions are placed on his education experience, training, and social life. Over 60,000 children in Egypt struggle with epilepsy that limits most of their social engagement, and more than 470,000 kids all over the globe. Now, AU Sense integrated epilepsy biosensor pack got their back. Our triple solution consists of a modern biosensor potentiostat, wearable device, and web mobile application. The first component, the biosensor potentiostat, enables instant blood testing with no sample pre-treatment. This component is composed of a potentiostat in partnership with BioSense, our key provider, and multi-volt carbon nanotubes modified screen-printed electrodes, internally innovated by our technical team. Our unique biosensor has been developed using innovative chemistry to provide affordable assays, higher sensitivity, and fast testing. Another competitive advantage is that our biosensor is specific for free valproic acid. After a blood sample is taken from the child, it is placed on the working electrode and put inside the potentiostat. Within a few seconds, free valproic acid concentration in the blood will be digitally displayed on the potentiostat screen. Second, the wearable device enables children to live the standard social life with no restrictions to let them learn, exercise, and engage limitlessly. Parents' main concern when it comes to social life is that children may develop sudden seizures. Our wearable device, in partnership with Empatica, monitors children's temperature and heartbeats. Regularly, it alerts parents with their child's case. All these data are transmitted over the cloud and accessible through our online platform that enables parents and doctors to check the child's progress. Besides, it helps doctors modify the medication. Our virtual community connects epileptic patients all over the globe and provides them with premium features to enhance their lives. Data and statistics collected remotely will be one of our major revenue streams within 2 years, since it will be sold to partner hospitals and medical centers, in addition to direct sales of the device and app subscription fees. Our commercialization strategy will focus on selling our devices and cartridges directly within the Egyptian market. Focusing on 10% of the Egyptian market in the very first year, we target sales of up to 66,000 devices, with an expectation of 2K premium subscribers to our online platform. Within 2 years, AU Sense plans to extend technologically and start fulfilling more market gaps and customer needs. First, we plan to develop BioSense potentiostat, adding market-friendly features like a built-in blood drawer and more charging options. In 2 years' time as well, we plan to start generating revenues from our database and statistics. Over 5 years, AU Sense plans to acquire the whole Egyptian childhood epilepsy market and expand to other markets in the Middle East and Mediterranean countries to let every Mo live epilepsy-free.
The discussion can start again.
Thank you. So we just saw the presentation from the team from the American University of Cairo, and I would like to initiate the discussion now. Can I please start members of the jury as well as public to ask questions?
Okay, I can start. Thank you very much for the presentation information. So I would like to know a little bit more about the relation you would like to build with for the partners like PalmSense and Empatica. So will they produce the cartridge and the device for you, or do you envision them for you to license their technology to produce yourself these cartridge and the device? So tell me a bit more about how you envision that.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for your time and thank you for your question. I'd like to progress on our plan, our future plan. throughout the first 2 years of our plan in the market, we target to acquire or to it's an acquisition plan to acquire the Egyptian market and the Middle Eastern market as well. So during this period, which is the first of our initial 2 years, both Empatica and BombSense will be our part providers during only those 2 years. But after that, we plan to extend on technological level to start modify or to own the know-how ourselves starting from year 3.
Okay. So you will build the R&D team to essentially create your own device for the longer term. That's what I understand? Is that correct?
Yeah, both and on the technological and the know-how level and on the database as well.
Okay. So can you describe a little bit more about where you would set up your R&D labs and how the facilities are? So can you give us a bit more about the capacity of production that you would have?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, we plan to on the first 2 years we will have just an R&D lab initially using our facilities on campus in New Cairo, and as well as getting assistance from the Egyptian Medical Association, using hospitals and medical centers accessible by the partnership with the Egyptian Medical Association.
So you target actually a very important market that let's say low and middle income countries. Can you tell us a little bit more how the cost you envision? So you mentioned that you expect about $11 per assay. How does that compare to the capacity of the payers to absorb these costs in the markets you target?
Okay, so as you mentioned, one of our main value propositions is affordability. We target patients and children, specifically children, epileptic children patients from middle and low income countries. So we planned to provide them an affordable solution, cost friendly. So we started to build a technology that is a unique technology as well as affordable to get into the market. What makes this affordable and accessible at that cost, lower cost, such as $11 per assay, is that we invest in the asset itself and to produce it on an appropriate rate and distribute it in different medical centers, so it's accessible by more than one patient per device. So patients are not. So in our sales plan, we directly sell the product, as well as we use a subscription model so that more patients, like 5 or 6, can share the same device at the medical center or at the doctor's clinic.
So what is the cost of the device? And so the assay is $11 from what I get, but how much is the cost of the device that you plan to launch?
Okay, so the whole package is around 1,000, and the package includes every single part of the solution. I mean, the subscription fees and the as well as the wearable device. But as I mentioned, the solution, the device itself, provided by the BombSense in the first 2 years, costs around $900, and it will be distributed in different medical centers, so it can be shared among different users or customers. So customers share the cost of the whole device. It's divided.
Can you, yeah, and one last question. Can you explain a little bit more what would be the advantage of the wearable device? If you give me a little bit more information about that. What is the competitive advantage of the wearable device compared to let's say other solutions?
I can't.
So I will repeat the question. So
that's a good question, and this is an added value as well. As I mentioned.
Yeah. So the wearable device.
What
is yeah. So,
okay, if I go to the question right, you're asking about the wearable device and why it's important. It is important to monitor the daily life of the children and their daily activities like school and training as well. As we mentioned in the video, we are targeting children who have a dream to live epilepsy-free. So we are providing them with a solution to live their life freely without the concern of their parents. So the device monitors their activities and as well as providing analysis for their children and doctors as well, which is the competitive advantage among other alternative solutions in the market.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I would love to add something. Regarding the previous question, actually in Egypt, because I personally work with epileptic patients in major hospitals here, the level of valproic acid in the blood is a frequently requested lab from the neurologist because it has a very narrow therapeutic index. So especially in children or pediatric population, they require such a test frequently. So, and actually this test is not very affordable or something like this. So if one package or one device will be shared by clinic that could be in a hospital, major hospitals in Egypt, like main university hospitals, which could have more than 5,000 patients or something like this, that could be affordable for them because they will save money for the lab test, the kits or something like this. Also, it will be affordable for them and for the doctors. It will be more feasible that they can change the doses and they can follow up the level of the valproic acid on spot. They don't need, it will save a lot of time for them. Also, if the valproic acid is not effective upon a wide range of doses, they can change they save more time for them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have one question from my point. I was very delighted to see in your project that apart from the product development of the actual biosensor, you also thought about the value that real-world data is bringing to us nowadays. And I understand that you also have a plan of launching a platform. Can you tell us a little bit more whether the data that you would derive as a part of this platform would be a sales data that your partners can look at, whether it would be patient level data? What type of specific information you would like to collect in such a platform?
Okay, so regarding the platform, it's an integrated platform. It's a very important part in our solution. Here in Egypt, we have a partner which is Visita, and Visita is another platform that enables patients to get access to different doctors and to share information and even to subscribe for doctors. So the platform we provide is a multidisciplinary platform. First of all, we connect doctors with parents, with children as well, providing them with data regarding the case of the child and the different rates of the valproic acid and other measurements, as well as providing an opportunity for our partners to get these data and to advertise for their solutions and different medical solutions. So it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders and another revenue stream from the advertising section.
Thank you very much. We have less than 2 minutes left. Are there any further questions that anyone would like to ask?
I'd love to add something regarding the edge of the platform. The epileptic patients, they have a lot of X-rays, MRIs, lab tests. Then usually they move with such huge amount of papers. So such a platform will save a lot of effort and will save a lot of time as well, because the patient can go to the neurologist and then I want a certain past MRI or something. No, I don't have it right now. So he will revisit again. Especially I face such things here in Egypt. Also, such patients in category of parents, they suffer from lack of encouragement, lack of motivation. Creating such a platform will create a unique community for that category of patients, and it creates a huge difference for them, because when they know that there are other parents and other patients, they suffer from similar diagnosis or something like this, it gives them more motivation and support to continue the journey with their kids and to continue compliance with the doctor. Also, as Abdurrahman said, and this patient data the parents can upload their kids' history on the platform. So when they change the neurologist, he knows the next neurologist know exactly what the protocol or the treatment plan this patient was following. So he can start from this point and follow on that. So I believe this is one of the edges of our platform.
All right, thank you for that final answer. I'm sorry to interrupt. This was the first time slot. I would like to thank everybody here, especially the judges and the team members that gave the answers. Please go to your next channel or stay around if you have some time for the next time slot. And then we will listen to Sense and See, True Sense and LXS in a couple of minutes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We would like to invite Ms. Branka Zlatko to turn on her camera as the jury member who will be leading the discussion. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the time slot 2 for translation potential. And actually, we will have further 3 presentation. And actually, I have a privilege that I will host 3 continents.
Very nice. We will start in 2 minutes. All right, welcome everybody. We are going to start with the second time slot. So we will first look at Sense and See.
Hi, my name is Carolina, and I'm here today to present to you the translation potential of the biosensing system created by our team, LXS. So, firstly, I want you to imagine that.
Sorry, one moment, please. All right, Sense and See this time. Here we go.
My name is Molly Powell.
I'm Mariana Ortiz.
And we're presenting our translational potential pitch for SensUs VPA biosensor.
The US has one of the largest medical device markets in the world, valued at $160.8 billion and making up about 40% of the global medical device market. It is driven by innovation, as healthcare providers are always looking for the next piece of technology that will help them treat their patients more effectively. BASE would be such a device as it would provide a fast and accurate way for doctors to monitor their patients' VPA levels. The therapeutic drug monitoring market favors epileptic drugs due to their complicated pharmacokinetics and varying therapeutic ranges. Monitoring VPA levels is important to healthcare personnel because of the drug's high binding percentage to the protein albumin in the blood. 90 to 95% of VPA becomes bound. High binding tendency reduces the effectiveness of the drug and can even cause VPA toxicity due to serum albumin concentration shifts. This makes determining the best therapeutic range for a patient difficult, and BASE will help reduce the risk of VPA toxicity and make prescribing VPA easier for doctors and safer for patients. There are over 5 million patients taking VPA today, and our device will help them receive more effective and efficient testing by doctors.
The key resources of this project were NC State's lab spaces and materials, as well as guidance from local medical professionals. We received information and opinions about the use of VPA in the treatment of epilepsy from a doctor in the Raleigh area to better understand the effect our research and the production of our sensor could have in our community. Online journal articles also proved to be a key resource as they helped us develop the chemistry behind the sensor by providing valuable information about therapeutic drug monitoring, sensing fatty acids, and enzyme kinetics. Micronet was our key partner during the development of BASE. For the electrical team, they provided guidance on what to research in regards to controllers.
Research and development is an important action that we had to perform to create the device, and it will also be important in the future. Continuous investments in R&D will lead to improvements in the device that will help us keep our advantage in the market. We want to ensure that we continue to have the most efficient double enzyme reaction sensor possible. In regards to marketing, we must get FDA approval. As a Class 2 device, we expect FDA approval to take about 6 months. Once approved, we will need to advertise to raise awareness of BASE and the potential it has to make the therapeutic drug monitoring of VPA more effective. In addition, we will also prioritize building connections to develop and maintain relationships with healthcare providers who may be interested in purchasing the device. We want to continuously have their feedback about our device so we can make improvements that suit their needs. Finally, selling and distributing is important as it will be the main way in which we make profit and get the device to healthcare providers. Overall, we would expect the release of the device into the market following device completion and approval to occur in 2024.
Setting a reasonable price for our device is essential for ensuring we make a profit on it. Costs related to research, FDA market fees, materials and supplies, employee pay, and marketing will be faced in the process of getting our product to the market and maintaining its quality. We expect to pay $5,236 per year for the FDA medical device fee, and with engineers working at an average of $30 an hour, we would pay $60 for labor per device if the production was at a rate of 100 devices per week. Hopefully, as speed and efficiency of production increase, some of these costs will decrease. Based on the cost table we developed, we expect each sensor to cost us $648 to make. We will price the device at $875, leaving a profit margin of $228 per sensor. This is just above a 25% profit margin. Thank you.
All right, I would now like to give the word to the jury's chair to lead the discussion.
Okay, so thank you for the presentation. Although in last 2 weeks, we were really focused and follow all teams. And as such, I would like really to thank you everybody for the effort and work that you involved in all your projects. So they told me today that I have to fund. So it is easy to say for me, but I suppose for competitor and for potential partner investors is so serious because they would like to catch in a short period the best of each project. So maybe to become serious, so I will start with a question. First of all, to encourage the others and ask you, you mentioned very carefully, and I was actually the judge related to the financial part, so I was focusing much more on your financials. You mentioned that you want to build connections. I would like to ask you how you will build it. What is your relationship with partnership with Micronet, and which kind of channels or social media or doctor platforms you will use for spreading the information about your product in future?
In terms of building connections, we discussed, like, of course, when you buy the product, I think a really key important thing is like education. So in that way, that's a really good way of keeping the connection with others. Like if you come out with the device, you know, like when we're like giving it to doctors and healthcare professionals, education is a huge key, just like you would with any other medical device. So that's one way we talked about keeping the connections. In regards to Micronet, they helped our electrical team more, and I know they did it in terms of they had meetings with them, and then with the meetings they helped them come up with ideas about the microelectronics, I'm pretty sure, like what to research and things like that. So I know there's details for that.
And
I think also just to add a little bit onto the creating connections with healthcare providers is, especially in America, we really want to target marketing to doctors because they're going to be the ones who are going to give patients guidance. And so we want to have a presence at a lot of like healthcare conferences, but also kind of be able to sit down with the doctor and really have conversations about how our device would specifically benefit their patient. And so I think creating transparency and having those really important conversations so that they can truly make a good decision for their patient is really important.
Kind of to go along with that, I also think it's important for us to like think about how we partner with like insurance companies and stuff, because like I know the American like health market is really it can be really unaffordable. So without like proper insurance coverage and stuff, we have to make it like accessible to the general population.
Yep, sure. And you really structured it and mentioned very well in your business proposal. Next question. We are talking about medical device market, and it's really spread in US. So my question coming to you for FDA approval, do you think that you will get it easier? Because already there are biosensors, biomarkers, not in this specific field, but other. So is it easier now to get the FDA approval? And the fee that you mentioned, is it feasible?
From our analysis in terms of like costs and everything, the fee would extend kind of like how long it would take us to be profitable in the end, but it's like a yearly fee. So like any medical device company has to do it. And I actually think because there's not really VPA sensors on the market, it would be a little harder actually to get approval because of the new technology in terms of it not being exactly, it doesn't really have a presence in the market yet. So in terms of like FDA approval, it would be a little bit harder just because of the newness of it.
Okay. So can some others from the audience can join me with the questions?
Yeah, so I can ask a question as well. I'm Julian. I was also in the jury. I believe in the US it's the same as in many countries in Europe. Most of these devices, when they're sold through healthcare, are subjected to reimbursement by insurance, for example. Have you given any thought to this?
I think we kind of have. We're talking about like how we would have to partner with insurance companies to make it a lot more affordable. So like, I think you'd have to like negotiate whatever sort of deal that they do.
Yeah, definitely. It can be really difficult for patients who don't have insurance, or that if their insurance doesn't specifically cover this specific device, or if it doesn't cover a specific doctor within a specific network, it can be really confusing. And so I think the goal there would be to really target a wide array of insurance companies so that we can make sure we're covering the vast, like as many people as possible. So targeting very large companies like Blue Cross and Blue Shield and United Healthcare would give us way more breadth and hopefully make it so that we can actually make these technologies accessible, and so that people don't really have to worry as much about, oh, is this device going to be covered? Is it worth it to pay if my insurance doesn't cover it? And so if we can just cover as many people as possible, that's our strategy there.
And maybe just more remark, and this coverage is covering 100% or certain percentage?
So it depends. We would have to talk to specific insurance companies about kind of how their plans are structured. So it's a necessary evil in that every insurance plan is different, whether it covers 80% or if there's a deductible, or it really just depends on the plan. So we would have to work one-on-one with those companies to create a plan that both fits within their existing structure, but also gives the patient as the least burden possible.
Okay, thank you.
As a final question, because we're almost running out of time here, I didn't really get the costing model. So I do understand that you've actually looked quite in detail into the costs, even talking about how much it costs to hire someone. But you're selling your device at about $800, is that right? And making a 25% profit on this. But is it every test needs a device, or is there a consumable associated with it as well?
We discussed a consumable being associated with it, like a cartridge for each of the reaction enzyme chambers, and they would have a limited number of usage. So you'd get the device, and then we'd get profit additionally from replacement parts over time.
Okay, I suppose then in partnership, and when you open the channels, then you can also talk about subscription.
Yeah, we did discuss subscriptions too.
Okay, so maybe to clarify or sum up, maybe I would like to make a little bit of comment of your presentation of TP. So I would suggest less is more. So don't concentrate on this, that you present all detailed information, because actually you want to be catchy to the investors or to the partners. And you should give them minimum but enough information. On the other side, at the end of the day, you're expecting that they call you back for a coffee or a meeting to give more details.
All right, thank you for that advice. We will now end this discussion and move on to the next team, Team Trushens from China. I would like to ask the speakers from the teams to also turn on their camera.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Hao from TrueSense China, and I'm very honored today to present you how TrueSense is going to bring changes to the life of the epilepsy patient and also ease their pain. According to a previous study, 7% in every 1,000 have to suffer from epilepsy, and also the unbalanced distribution of medical resources have given rise to the difficulty faced by small hospitals and primary health agencies, making it even harder for them to take good care of the patients. Also, the long-term medication is necessary for epilepsy patients to suppress surges. However, any unsupervised use of such drugs would lead to disability of epilepsy control or even worse side effects. Therefore, it is essential to monitor the dynamics of such drugs in human constantly. However, the traditional way of testing is exhausting, torturing, and also dangerous, especially for the epilepsy patient. Additionally, the concentrated flow of patients into the major hospital have also caused these doctors very heavy workload. And here is where we want to bring our revolution. Portable devices allow rapid detection, simple operation, low cost, and also with a user-friendly human-raised app. Not only has it dramatically fastened the process of testing, but also, more importantly, bring some relief to the patient and also the burden of doctors. We are in the age of both challenges and opportunities. After comprehensive market research, we find that primary care medical institution can be our major target market. It makes up more than 95% of the Chinese medical system, and also it is supported by increasing special policies given by the Chinese government. Additionally, the market POCT is booming in China, and the incremental space is estimated to be over $1.7 billion. We are going to sell our biosensors in majorly two forms. The first is integrated biosensor. We are going to sell them directly by establishing a sales network centrally in Zhejiang province. And also, we are going to build a multi-center research platform to further boost the influence of our products. As for modules, with the help of our industrial cooperator, we will be producing electro circuits and our adaptive electrodes in large amount and sell them to interested companies and interested individuals. We set the price of our sensor at $69, and in addition, $2 chip is required for each test. We are going to target a market of 2.04 million people, and we are confident to cover 0.5% of the market in the first year. And in the fifth year, we are expected to have a net profit of about $1.5 million. Our biggest advantage is that our product fits the unique market of China perfectly. We have found sponsors and we have found an ideal space to build our business. High-Tech Park for Alumni Corporation of Zhejiang University, a famous incubator in China. We are dedicated to make our contribution to improve the lives of the epilepsy patients, and also we are eager and determined to make the human welfare be supported by our advanced technology eventually. And thanks for listening and your suggestion. It will be very vital for me, sincerely.
Yes, we can now start the discussion again.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. Obviously, we will watch them few times during these 2 weeks. So maybe I will start with the presentation. Actually, what you put as a spotlight, you could start with this. It's really the main focus with the medical device today, to bring it to the individuals at home that they can do their control and actually exclude as much as possible going to clinics and hospitals for long prescriptions. So it's just sort of maybe a little bit compared to the previous one. Do not use robust design. Be very simple, very clear in your findings, because again, we are coming to this, your potential partners or investors will get 15 to 20 presentations at a day. So you want to really escalate this. And actually you did it cool with the 1 minute pitch, because you made completely different story. So yes, I will start with the question, since you are mentioning and you are going into this portable device and this medical device market, which actually is great for China because of huge population. So you can really easy to step into the market. But what about the obstacles? So in your presentation, I didn't hear about any regulatory application. Is it necessary or not at all? On the other side, since you are stepping to this, first of all, you mentioned that you would like to start with B2C, so you are going to the individuals, to the patients. It's also the case. Now we have on the market smartwatches, gadgets that they are following our health. Is it how you will distinguish from this what is on the market already?
Okay. First, thanks for your question a lot. I would like to answer these two questions one by one first. First, about the application part. First, due to the pandemic, we haven't been able to build a very completed protocol now, but we have future plans after we build that protocol. We will first use the devices to apply for license. In China, it's called Class 3 medical devices. It is required if we want to bring our product to the market. And we have, as we have mentioned, we have found a place to incubator where many similar devices and companies have already do the same things and receive the same support from the government and allowance. And additionally, about the market, how to distinguish our devices from other products that are already in the market. We have basically two strategies. The first is our concept of point of care. Our devices, as we have mentioned before, it is portable, easily used, and it allows very little interaction with the patients or the people operating it. And this is the feature that products in the market now do not really have. And additionally, our product is not only one product. As our company, in our plan, we are going to build a series of biosensors, including these companies, and they will receive same support and from the technical support based on because we are a university and we are using our technological advance and transform it into our developing devices. And we will provide continuous support, and this support will make our devices more enhanced and suitable for the market once it receives some feedback from our users. And I think this will make our product more competitive than the other product, which is developed by companies individually.
Thank you. Is this maybe going also? Is it maybe this going also into the telemedicine, so that you have visual doctors?
Visual doctors? You mean we haven't planning visual doctors, this kind of things. But in our plan, we are not actually just selling them directly to individuals at home. There is a kind of institution called Primary Care Medical Institution, and this is a very popular institution. It's focused on the primary care in China. How to say? Every block there will be such one institution, and it's very easily accessible for the neighborhood. The neighbors who can also go to that places, and we are heading for that places specifically.
Okay.
And there will be some doctors with experience and professional knowledge there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Could I ask? I mean, the sensor is very interesting. Have you thought about, you've clearly given a lot of thought to the local environment in China.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. Have you given a little bit of, looking at how you would actually make the sensor and what the manufacturing channels would be?
As for the manufacturing channels, we have got some sponsors, and as we have mentioned before, our sensors is not going to be only integrated sensors. We are first producing the different parts separately, and we have found ideal places to build them. As first, in a small volume, we have already successful labs and the technology to build that. And after that, corresponding with our labs in our university, there is already such kind of centers for us to build more devices. But that is not our final solution, because we are still looking for more corporations. We are industrial partners, and we haven't covered that part completely. But we are working hard to make that part a little more better. But for the manufacturing technology, we have already have that in our mind, but we just need to have a place to launch it.
Very good. Maybe a final point. I had some difficulties in understanding how you would target your specific applications, because you were talking about different hospital settings, different types of patients, different doctors. And so how are you going to prioritize this? It's quite fragmented and complicated.
Yes. This is a very good question, and we have been considering this question for a long time. You see, the patients, the epilepsy patients in China, they have many of them are using different drugs, and they were going to different hospitals with different levels of professional technologies. And but we are not targeting all of them, because we are hardly able to do that. We are targeting a very small but also a large population group. That is the group will have access to, which I've mentioned before, the primary care medical institution. In that places, the doctors is usually not very well trained. They have some basic knowledge about how to treat people, but they do not have more advanced like experiments to give the best treatment to the patient. And we are. And then our product can fit them, because the product requires some knowledge but not a lot of knowledge. So the product is just suitable for them, and they will have easily access to the patient, and they can tell patients what to do based on our results. And also, we want to emphasize that too. This primary care medical institution is a very big institution. It consists of more than 95% of Chinese medical systems. So the target is very promising and quite delightful. Okay.
All right. Thank you for this discussion. Thank you, Team TrueSense. We will now go to the final pitch of this time slot, which is from Alexis.
Thank you. Thank you for the suggestions.
Hi, my name is Carolina, and I'm here today to present you the translation potential of the biosensing system created by our team, LXS. So firstly, I want you to imagine that you are a parent. Unfortunately, you just found out that your kid has epilepsy. You go home, you are worried, and you know that the first dose of valproate, the medication that the doctor just prescribed, the first dosage is usually not exactly the right one. And you know that this is worse for children because of their weight changes. And you know that your next appointment is only in 4 months because you are in the public health system. But what about until then? How do you know that your kid is taking the right dosage and is not going to school and having an episode where you're not even there? Fear not, because we're here to help. We propose not only a monitorization device, but a whole patient-driven environment, offering the peace of mind and time that you and the parents of around 675,000 children per year are seeking. And how are we planning to do this? Our biosensing system strength stands on 3 main pillars. Firstly, of course, our biosensor that enables the patient to take valproate measurements at the comfort of their own home. Additionally, we offer on a premium package the possibility of integrating a wearable that can measure important information about cardiac and sleep monitoring, and that can be later used to do a monthly detailed report. Both devices are connected to a user-friendly interface where the patient can even add their details on symptoms, keep a seizure diary, and engage on a community of other users and health professionals. Finally, we count on a network of neurologists as the last crucial pillar of our system, and one very important stakeholder, which closely follow each patient and analyze their results. Therefore, to doctors, we propose not only an improvement of their clinical practice, but also an extra income for each patient they follow on the platform. Apart from doctors and patients, there are two possible stakeholders for this project. Firstly, pharmaceutical companies who self-operate. This partnership is important as a channel to our customers through advertising, and also as a way for us to use the data that we have been collected, as it is of their interest for valproic acid and epilepsy in journal research. Additionally, also insurance companies can represent an important stakeholder as again a channel to our customers through co-payments, advertising, and maybe even financing, as it is of their major economic interest that patients present less doctor's appointments and less long-term damages. Finally, regarding the financial part of our model, it's important to keep some aspects of this planning in mind. Firstly, it's the interest in different markets. Our first 3 years will be focused on R&D and getting the CE certification in order to enter the market in Portugal in 2023. And the markets in Denmark, Germany, and Sweden in the next year. In the time between 2024 and 2026, we'll be focused on getting to the USA market, which is the one with the highest prevalence in epilepsy. And for that, we need the FDA approval, so we'll be focusing on that as well. Entering these markets will be deeply important for our growth as a company and for the growth of our net income. We truly believe that our solution could not only improve the life of thousands of people, but also promote the clear shift to an online patient-centered health, and finally, deeply contribute to the much-needed understanding of the preventive side of this disease. I really hope you enjoyed our presentation, and see you soon.
All right, we can start the discussion now.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. And as a start, I would like certainly make a bit of my comment. So your business model is, for me, one of the best ones among everybody. If I start that you structure a detailed financial plan, go to market from the region to US, that you mentioned a strong relationship with pharmas and insurance as partners, that you are patient-centered, that you are streaming to selling the advertiser and selling the buy data, your database. So you mentioned regulatory cost, you mentioned prescription. So what to say? Maybe I'm missing leasing concept if it's necessary, but maybe at this stage, from your point of view, it's not. So really great job. Another part related to your presentation and the enrollment of the presentation. So actually, whatever you presented is written in the business model. So you are not missing any. On the other side, putting together a speaker, a text in the boxes and elements of the presentation was too much for me. So I could not follow and I mismatched. So maybe again, unfortunately for the third time, but logically you had 3 pitches, so and strictly explain which each has to get and have from the data. So be using just one element, not using 3 of them that you are thinking that somebody will miss something, because you have to make a focus to what you are telling us. And actually, if you are believing into this and if you easily explain to us, we will understand. Yes, Julian, it's hard for me now to put any question mark. Maybe to ask you how long you are working on the project. It's also maybe to add and mention that, yes, it was much harder for you since you are not English native speaker, like neither me. So it's harder than making a great speechless presentation, but it's come, it will come. So this is not the obstacle, any problem. So yes, how long you are researching, How was your team structured? And do you believe in this? Do you believe to go to the market with this?
Firstly, thank you for your feedback. So we have been working on this since I think like January. So it was not a long way to develop a biosensor, but a long way for us as students. And yeah, I think all of us truly believe in this. I don't know if we will be able to actually continue with it because we are all starting our master thesis and everything. But it was a really nice project to conduct because it was truly hard and it was truly rich to understand all the costs that making a biosensor or just like any company, especially in healthcare, in a healthcare sector, how much does this cost, like with people, with certification, with patenting. It was really interesting to see that. And but thank you for your feedback, and we don't know if we are going to follow with this, but it was a nice journey. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm in a similar tough position because the pitch and all the information that you provided were very good. I was really a fan of patient diaries and the focus on the patient. That was for me really interesting and important, that you don't lose track of the patient. One question on. So these ideas are great, and you've established an ecosystem around you that you would want to use to push that idea forward. But how do you prevent other people from doing that in your stead?
So do you mean in a technology basis or just in the whole environment, like how we do it?
Well, just in general, because granted, your idea has a technological basis, right? It's a sensor and it's got some technology in it, but actually your main strength, and we're not judging creativity here. So your main strength in that particular system is the ideas around your business. The idea of going with pharma, the idea of patient diaries. So how do you make sure that no one looks at you and says, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll do it myself"?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a difficult question. I think these connections with the pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies would have to be really well managed in terms of exclusivity and just how we're going to manage this. But honestly, from just now, I don't know how we would stop apart from patenting our technology. And maybe we could, because we can patent the just concepts, and we could patent the whole concept and the application and the specifications of the application. But I think that's as far as we can go in terms of preventing other people from doing this. I think we can always try to do better, but we cannot stop people from entirely doing this.
This is something that will be slightly controversial, so I'm sorry about this, but every team in SensUs is extremely enthusiastic, and that's fantastic. We all love this. And so, the first question that was asked was, do you want to carry on with this? And you've hinted that this would be challenging for many of you. And that's fine. That's life. That's the way it is. That's perfectly okay. But in that context, you should also look into other possibilities, because this activity is huge. You're wanting to do lots of things, right? A patient-centric diary, so it's lots of tech in there. Negotiating with pharma, that's just right. And so it could be that actually the company or your business or your idea could try and work more towards licensing, where you don't actually have to do much of the legwork in doing that, but you've pushed out the idea to other people, and that could be a way out. Don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah, we thought so from the several meetings that we had, both with the SensUs partners, and there's one in particular. I think it was with the doctor from the Future Diagnostics. in which he talked about how difficult it was to do like clinical trials and to do all this. And he said that mostly sometimes these startups associate with bigger companies to be able to bring actually this product to the market. So I think that could be an idea to follow, and to maybe associate ourselves with some bigger company in order to be able to actually have the funding and have everything. Despite there are also the opportunity to just invest in venture capital and to in this European grants, for example, in KIT Health, is the organization that supports this position, and also has a lot of programs to support startup companies in the healthcare business. But and so this would be, I think that would be an option for us right now. That's it. It's difficult to with our team, our other projects, but we are definitely like, I didn't mean to say that we completely threw the option of following this and continuing, but yeah, we have those challenges. But of course, connecting with other companies would always be an option. I don't know if that answered your question. It was a little confusing, but
no, it's okay.
All right, I think that rounds off this discussion. I would like to thank everybody who was here, and especially the judges for their great feedback and questions, and the teams for answering those questions. And I would like to ask you to go back to the live stream and then to also join Microsoft Teams for the award ceremony. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you.
Bye.